few days passed. Muzir and the others were looking at me and kept asking if I was okay because it looked like I was acting weird. Well, today is the day. I'm going to get to go to Mr. Rendo's house again. I felt bad having him come down to pick me up, so instead I'm taking the train and walking to his place. Yeah, yikes if she didn't take that train.
Yeah, that's right.
Hi. Hello. I let out a sigh of relief as I entered Mr. Rendo's home. I have to admit, despite coming here once already, the luxurious exterior of this place is making me nervous. I couldn't even use the elevator here without getting in contact through the intercom. The lobby area even had... I was reading right. The lobby area even has a concierge who greets guests once inside. This place is luxury through and through. I'm just awed by the service and luxury, something I don't have in my life. Well, bitch, if you get with Rendo, you probably could have the luxury in your life. The man got fat, deep pockets. Oh, 10! I'm sorry about the last time. I bend myself down to look face to face with 10 as he jumps happily. A Mickey Mouse sounding character getting drunk. I never would have put the two together.
タイミングバッチリだね。それじゃあ料理並べていくから、二人とも先に座ってくれるかな。
Oh, let me help.
いやいや、すぐだから大丈夫。
Mr. Rendo waves me to sit down as he goes into the kitchen. Well, I guess Mr. Rendo is back to his old self again. But after what happened the last time, well, you know, stuff kind of happened back then. I was a bit nervous as to how I should approach seeing him again, but I guess he really is an adult, considering how he's already moved on from it. Mr. Rendo came back with a gorgeous meal in his hands for us to enjoy. I can assure you, 10 and I are enjoying Mr. Rendo's home cooking. That was really good. Thank you thank you very much.
よかった。大好評だったね。
Mr. Rendo lets out a huge grin as he clears the plates and sets up for tea time. Hearing Ten's words of praise, I glance toward Mr. Rendo.
ああ、なんだかやり始めたら楽しくなっちゃってさ。あの次の日からまた自炊をするようにしてるんだ。
He hasn't been weeding L. What the fuck, Sasha? Ugh. He hasn't been eating well for all these years. Knowing that Mr. Rendo was cooking for himself again made me feel warm inside. Huh? Why is that?
実は事情聴取が終わってね。急遽、てんちゃんが天崎島に帰ることが決まったんだ。
Really?
そうなのであります。それに決まったのはつい先ほどでありまして。
How convenient. Shoot him out of here. So it's just alone time for the two of us.
君が来る直前にどっかから電話がかかってきてね。
Oh, that's quite sudden and convenient.
GPM はこういうところ結構融通きかないっていうか。 お役所仕事なんだよね。
Ten nods repeatedly as I sit there in disbelief.
だから今日もう一度会えてよかったのであります。
And with that, Ten runs off to the corner of the room and comes back with something in hand. Ten places in my hand a very small clay doll that looks just like him. I guess you could say it's like a mini Curé.
ミニクーレイ族像であります。
Mini Curé idol.
天崎島の粘土を使って作った商売繁盛のお守りであります。ぜひ飾ってほしいであります。
It's cute though. I guess I'm right when I thought it looked like a small 10. It looked cute on the counter back at Enchante. Thank you. I'll put it to good use. Ah, speaking of idols. That weird alien wooden figure that Mikado gave me crosses my mind. I wonder how he's doing. I forgot how that gift he gave looks. I haven't seen him for a while now. I guess that's not unusual considering he isn't like a regular that comes to visit Enchante.
どうかした？
Oh, I was wondering how Mikado was doing.
ミカ？ああ、どうしてるかな。
You haven't seen him recently either?
実は最近事例が出てね、ミカド昇進になったんだよ。
Really? That's amazing!
だよね。まああれでいてミカドは GPM に長年貢献してるからね。それで引き継ぎとか結構バタバタしててさ、しばらく会ってないんだ。そういえば昨日あたりに新しい部署に行ったんじゃなかったかな。
I'm not sure if this I'm not sure if this has to do with his new assignment, but I hope his research offers better results. In particular, in relation to Q. I guess Mr. Rindo and I are thinking about the same thing as I notice his sullen expression.
そうだね。あいつあれでも天才だし、想像もつかない研究ができるかもね。僕もいい年だからもうあんまり希望とか期待とか持たないようにしてるんだけどね。
But what if there is a way to turn a former human back into their excuse me. What if there is a way to turn a former human back into their human form again? When that happens,
おっと、てんちゃんの迎えが来たかな。
Rindo stands up to go and answer the intercom. A uniformed man appears in the display. Mr. Rindo goes to the door to greet the GPM. Well, I guess it's time.
自分のであります。
Aww, baby. Ten's tension suddenly drops to an all-time low. I lift him up in my hands and look into his eyes. I'm sure I'll meet you again back at Amasaki Island. My parents' home is nearby, you know?
琴音殿。
Filled with emotions, Ten reaches out and embraces my cheek. Oh. The door flies open. The fuck?
失礼いたします。空霊族10番の回収に参りました。
Code 10. His abrupt and cold tone made me look toward Mr. Rindo. Mr. Rindo is in the back is back in the room with a frown on his face, then walks slowly toward 10.
お別れは済んだかい？
Yes.
大丈夫であります。
Mr. Rindo takes 10 from my hands and slowly rubs his head with his fingers. He then hands him over to the GPM.
輸送中はくれぐれも気をつけるように。彼らは繊細だからね。揺らしたり怖がるような真似はしちゃダメだよ。
は、お任せください。
Despite saying that he understands, he quickly picks up 10 and places him in the small case. Huh? You're gonna take him in that? Hearing my words, Mr. Rindo's subordinate tilts his head and looks at me bewildered. Like, did this bitch move her mouth to defy me?
課長、彼女は。
ああ、彼女はあのアンシャンテのマスターさ。
Oh Lord. Nice to meet you. I nod lightly, to which his bewildered look vanishes. What do you mean, ah?
彼女はこの子と仲が良くてね。今日はお別れに来ていたんだ。
この人外とですか？
His expression changes to that of disbelief, which brings a sharp pain to my heart. Yes, so please take good care of him.
心配無用であります。今日はとても楽しかったでありますよ。
Don't say that to him. He might freaking rumble your ass in the car and like drive over some cobblestone just to tick you off. 10 responds to me with a bright tone in his words. But seeing him in that case makes it seem like he's merely some kind of specimen. Oh, can you put this in there? I take a handkerchief out from my purse. I figured it'd at least help to make things comfortable and to cushion him from bouncing around in there. I think it's pretty rough and cold inside of there. Mr. Rindo nods out, excuse me. Mr. Rindo lets out a smile and nods in reply.
ああ、いいんじゃないかな。ということで、これは彼への選別だ。入れさせてもらうよ。
Don't backtalk him. Do it. The subordinate frowns as if he's not sure why that's needed, but he goes ahead and places it inside. 10 happily lays the handkerchief down and lies on top of it.
これは快適でありますな。最後まで感謝ばかりであります。琴音殿。
Well, take care, 10. The subordinate closes the lid upon seeing 10 wave farewell. He then places the case inside of a large duffel bag before bidding farewell to Mr. Rindo.
では、自分はこのまま天崎島へ直行いたします。休暇中、失礼いたしました。
うん、ありがとう。気をつけて。
And with that, the man quickly leaves. A few seconds pass.
驚いたかな。
Yeah, kinda. Now it's just the two of us, though. Oh, okay, never mind. No. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm like, yeah, you lying. I'm shaking my head, but I'm lying. I've never had a good impression of the GPM ever since I took over the cafe, but that was so by the books. And there was hardly any emotion there. I can see why Mr. Rindo is a sort of an irregular existence in the GPM now.
うちの職員はどうにも極端なのが多くてね。人外に対して好奇心旺盛なタイプ、人外を毛嫌いするタイプ。ま、僕みたいな中庸なのは少ないかもね。
Interesting.
今の彼は人外の起こした事故に巻き込まれて弟さんを失っているんだ。だから人外に対してよく思っていなくてね。
He lost his younger brother?
ただ珍しくはない。この前も話したけれど、人外絡みの悲劇はよくある。そういったことをきっかけに GPM に入る人も多いからさ。
Is that the same for you, Mr. Rindo? Did something ever happen? Did something ever happen to?
僕
His response cutting my phrase makes me realize what I've just done. He already experienced tragedy with Shizuku. And now I'm delving deeper into his past over other problems he's encountered with non-humans. I choke knowing what I've done and trying to think of what to say.
いや、僕はどっちかというと好奇心だね。幸いにしてそういう悲劇は縁がなかった。むしろ人外に興味があったからこそ憧れて GPM に入ったんだ。
Huh? Really?
ああ、そうか。君からしたらちょっと意外かな。普段あれだけ人間と人外の違いや危険性をくどくど解いてたもんね。
He chuckles for a moment, and then his eyes dulls.
帝ほどじゃないけどさ、人外のことは好きだったんだ。雫のあの一件があるまではさ。
It's not like I can do anything. I can't help Shizuku. And I can't save Mr. Mikado. But, Mr. Rindo, do you mind if I ask more about Shizuku? There's no way I could leave him alone, especially after seeing the expression on his face. Even if it was just me being selfish, he still is a regular. And a precious customer of Enchante. Girl, I done told you this in Connes's round. I'm gonna tell you again. Fuck that cafe. You're trying to know this guy on your level, personal level, not in perspective of the stupid ass cafe. The cafe is a detriment at this point because it's hindering your two's potential relationship. So cut that out. Ugh. I am the owner of Enchante, so I have the full right to be worried about his well-being.
雫のこと、この間話したことくらいしか。
Have you? Well, not about what happened, but more about who she was. Like, how she was as a child. I mean, of course, if you want to share, Mr. Rindo. Oh, please don't force yourself. I was just interested to know a bit more about her. Did you say anything?
いや、嬉しいよ。そう言ってもらえて。じゃあ少し 話そうかな。君に聞いてもらえると楽になる気がするし、今まで誰にもこんなこと話せなかったから。
Oh, really?
対外的に雫は死んでいることになってるしね。
Yeah, it's been 7 years since that incident, so... Oh, I didn't say it. That makes sense. There's no way he could say she's still alive as a non-human to anyone who doesn't know about non-humans. If so, the most that the public knows would be that she's either gone missing or... But don't the people within the GPM know?
組織にとって雫の事故は不手際だからね。臭いものには蓋をしたがるのが大人なのさ。
But
だから当事者以外には極秘事項扱いで口外も難しい。
interesting.
つまりほとんどの職員は知らないんだ。帝の持っているぬいぐるみが人外だなんてことすら。そんなわけでさ、雫について何もごまかさずに話せるのは君ぐらいだから。だから嬉しいんだ。
He lets out a gentle smile. Mr. Rindo begins to speak. Mr. Rindo calmly speaks about Shizuku over a cup of tea. He talks about Shizuku's birth and all the things she's went through. He mentioned that he had a sense of obligation to protect her since they were 15 years apart. Woo! Damn. So he's 42 now. Well, he's in his 40s. I think it was 42 though. But 42. So she would be 29? Same as Mikado? I cannot math right now. Lord. But then again, this could be wrong. Oh no, 27. I was off by 2. Oops. Wow. Then again, you know, I don't forget how old Rindo was. But yeah, yikes, what an age gap. He also said that he made a vow to become Shizuku's acting guardian after their parents passed away. Overall, he seemed a bit shy talking about all this. He mentions how she's usually calm and a hard worker, but easy to scare and likes to fawn over others. He states how she loves sweets too. Mr. Rindo's eyes were as gentle as ever while talking about Shizuku. But he also looked depressed. Oh no, we can't have that. The night arrived before I knew it.
だいぶ遅くなっちゃったね。
He chuckles as he looks at the clock.
近くまで送るよ。店の前じゃなきゃ、まあ、多分燃えかすにはされないだろうし。
I couldn't immediately accept his kind offer to take me back to the cafe. Ooh, you want to stay? You want to stay overnight? The smile on Mr. Rindo's face looked forced, probably because of all the Shizuku talk. Not that me being here will help him any, but maybe staying here with him a little, maybe staying here with him a little, or I keep adding stuff, with him a bit longer will make him feel better. Oh, if only Mr. Rindo just asked more from me. Then again, I bet he'd simply smile and like he usually does and just say he's alright. The hell with that. Is it okay if I stay here longer? Hearing my words, Mr. Rindo's eyes widen.
それはまあ構わないけど、なんでまた?
I'm not sure how to say this, but I don't want you to be alone. Who? Okay, Katani. Mr. Rindo fixes his eyes on me. Soon he begins to frown and covers his eyes with his hand. He sighs as if he was exhaling his emotions.
あのね、琴音ちゃん。あんまりおじさんを甘やかしちゃダメだよ。
Why not? It's okay. I mean, you want to be pampered sometimes, right? I probably sound like a kid to him. My suggestion is pretty self-centered, so I assumed he'll come with his adult logic and shut me down, but instead, Mr. Rindo's face is shadowed with sorrow.
辛くなるからだよ。君の言葉が心から本当にそう思ってくれるのがわかるから。思わず揺らぎそうになる。忘れてなくしていたはずの何かがね。
He gently rubs my cheek. Oh, give me a kiss. My heart begins to race as I feel his hand touch me. And then... Ah! Man, fucking throw that window out the phone. Throw that phone out the window. I think it's for you.
やれやれ。また怖いお父さんたちかな。まったく。彼ら相手だとプライバシーも何もあったものじゃないね。
Well, they're probably not peeping on us like last time. Hopefully. Girl, you're giving them too much credit. Then again, they could be eavesdropping instead. I'm sure things are fine. I mean, Mizir isn't the type to do things others don't like. Are you sure about that? Oh, okay. Mikado.
もしもし、Mikado?
Uh-oh, the music cut off. What's up? Mr. Rindo answers his phone. But... What the fuck?
Mikado, どうした?
リンド、ごめん。
The phone abruptly ends. You mean the call? What is it?
いや、それがよくわからなくて。ただ、ごめんって。
We look at each other as we're both confused, already forgetting the mood we were just making.
なんだろう。もしかして僕の備品でも壊したのかな?
No, he sounded really serious. Mr. Rindo jokingly speaks, but I could tell he was a bit worried. Yeah, I don't like how that sounds. I glance at her sitting in the passenger seat. I ended up taking her back to Enchante after that weird call from Mikado. She was very compliant when I asked her to leave since I had things to do tomorrow. To be honest, I'm a bit relieved she obliged, but she but also a bit disappointed she did too. I'm not sure what struck me back then when she said what she said earlier. If Mikado didn't call me back then, what would I have done? I need to stay calm and stay focused on the present. But
もう少しだ。
I coughed to try and stop myself from completing the sentence. I wonder what my dear passenger is thinking as all of this is happening.
Kotone-chan?
Yes. My voice comes out awkwardly as he catches me in the middle of a daydream.
あ、ひょっとしてうとうとしてた。
Oh no, I was just thinking. So what is it?
うん、いや、ダッシュボードに飴があるからよかったらどうぞって。
Oh, I see. Thank you very much. I don't have any reason to refuse his offers, so I reach out to... Mr. Rindo's smartphone is ringing again. The name that appeared on the screen is... Doesn't look like it's from Mikado. Ew! Eavesdropping much?
僕の部下だね。一応僕は有給のはずなんだけど、まあ何かしらあったのかな。
This reminds me of how I never really have a day off with everyone always bothering me. Mr. Rindo chuckles. He must be remembering back when I first came to
とりあえ
Enchante.
ず出ないとね。スピーカーモードにしてもらっていいかな。
Sure. I don't want whoever to think that their boss is out with a girl. That could lead to a lot of problems. I better keep quiet and hold my breath. I answer the call with the speakerphone on.
もしもし、リンド。
課長、リンド課長ですか？
I gasp as I hear a voice of someone in desperation. I can hear screaming coming from the background. Oh my god. Then gunshots.
課長、助け！
The call abruptly ends before he can finish his sentence. Mr. Rindo's expression stiffens.
すぐにかけ直して。
Yes. I hurriedly pressed on the redial icon to no avail. What should we do?
そうだ、ミカド。あいつの電話が気になる。ミカドに。
Got it. I tried calling from the number that was on the history list, but the only thing we hear is the repeating of the dial tone. There's no doubt something terrible is going on at the GPM. Mr. Rindo, we should head to the GPM headquarters right away.
ああ、わかってる。だけど君をアンシャンテに降ろしてからだ。
Man, damn that! Go to the GPM! But Enchante is miles out of the way. They need you now. They probably need you now, excuse me.
そうだ。
I'll wait in the car and call Meezier and the gang, so don't worry about me. I'll be fine once they join us. I reason as best I can with Mr. Rindo, who silently nods with a stern look on his face.
わかった。行こう。
I definitely break the speed limit trying to reach the GPM within 5 minutes after receiving the distress call.
じゃあ行ってくるよ。 いるとカヌスが来てくれる。彼らが来るまではじっとしてて。僕も多分15分くらいで戻るから。
Understood. Please be careful.
さて。
After parking the car on the side, I check to make sure I have everything on me. I gaze up to the towering building, the GPM headquarters above the buildings in Shinjuku, The usually bustling building is now silent amid the cold night.
どう考えても結構な事件だと思ったけど、外から見る限りは騒ぎになってない。
I know the silence doesn't match the call, which probably means things are much worse than expected. I hurriedly head inside with my guard up. Then suddenly, oh my God. I hear screaming from amid the silence of the night. A faint resonating scream fills my ears. The hallway is empty. None of the lights are on. I follow my instincts directly to the R&D department where I think Mikado should be hiding.
おい、大丈夫か?
I find one of our men on the ground. I hurry next to his side to check on him. But his body was already cold and lifeless. I could feel the cold coming from his body. His body was unnaturally frigid to the point it was freezing.
失血死。
Oh, he didn't drug Ku. He says he drugged, Mikado's supposed to drug Ku every day to keep her from wanting to, bleed people dry. That's odd. I don't see any blood splatter or anything around here. What is happening here? I hear something. I hear something near the shadows.
誰だ?
I point my gun toward the shadows. I can hear breathing. But whoever it is isn't coming out from the shadows.
警告は一度だけだ。おとなしく出てこないなら撃つ。
A few seconds of silence. Suddenly, let me see, what the fuck? It's just a bunch of hands, right? Yeah. A black shadow reaches out to me. I quickly step back. I whip my gun toward the shadows. I pull the trigger. It's cool. Damn it. I hope Mr. Rindo is all right. I'm still inside Mr. Rindo's car. I look at my phone as I wait for him to return. That call earlier.
Moshi, Rindo.
課長、リンドー課長ですか? 課長、助け!
From the looks of it, it doesn't look like anything's going on inside that building. I wonder what's going on. Then suddenly, okay, they hear. I notice a familiar figure come down slowly from the skies. Ill? What the? In his arms was Mr. Rindo. Oh, shit. Ill? Mr. Rindo? I jump out of the car, to which Ill suddenly stops.
Stop. 近づかないで.
Huh? I stop in my tracks as I hear Ill's rarely heard stern voice. Stern tone, excuse me. I then notice Canis appear from behind Ill. He didn't look very well either. Ill, Canis, what's going on? What happened to Mr. Rindo? I try to hold back my shaking as Ill calmly explains the details. They went to the GPM right after I called. Scoping out the building, they found a number of GPM staff on the floor. Most of them were already dead, but amid the bodies, they saw Mr. Rindo in critical condition. So they quickly dove into the building. Based on what they saw there, they assumed the GPM was attacked, but they decided to prioritize Mr. Rindo's safety and fled. Excuse me. They decided to prioritize Mr. Rindo's safety first and fled. And now, they said they sensed something like a hex coming from Mr. Rindo. Hex. A curse to a resented opponent for a disaster to befall them. In this game, it refers to a curse that gnaws away the target's life. Oh no, I was worried about this. The title is called Curse for Chapter 3. Hex? I'm not sure what that is, but I noticed Ill nod hearing me say the word.
私はそういった類の術式には強いので耐えられますが、人間であるあなたが触れた場合、どうなるかは保証できません。
But can we take him to the hospital?
やめた方がいいだろう。
Oh my god.
どんな二次被害が起こるかもわからない。人間の意志に何かできる類ではない。一度アンシャンテに戻り、取れるだけの対応をするべきだ。
I feel myself getting pale seeing Mr. Rindo's lifeless face. All I could do was nod in response to their suggestions.